All right, that is not mine for a change. Let's be on the record in case number 2020-CR312, captioned State of Kansas versus Brandon Bannister. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, State of Kansas appears by Assistant District Attorney Nicholas Campbell via Zoom.
May it please the court, Your Honor, Klein Boone appears on behalf of the defendant, Brandon Bannister, who also appears via Zoom and in custody.
All right. We are here set down today for a sentencing. The record should reflect that we were in court by Zoom back on February 19th, at which time the defendant changed his plea from one of not guilty to guilty. The court inquired and accepted that, ordered a pre-sentence investigation, and set sentencing for today. I've received that report. The critical findings are as follows. The sole count of conviction is one of criminal damage to property. That is a severity level 9 non-person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be that of C, as in Charles. That would leave him with a presumption of probation and a presumed underlying range of 11, 12, or 13 months. However, there is a special rule, that being number 9, that this crime was committed while on parole for a felony, which destroys the presumption of probation and leaves it without a presumption. If he has to do his time, he'll be eligible for 20% good time credit and subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. If he's granted probation today, it would be for a period of 12 months to community corrections. I would ask you first, Mr. Campbell, have you had a chance to review the PSI? Any additions, corrections, or challenges to those findings?
I have reviewed it, and just one clarification. It does have presumptive probation, but that's just because there's no box for no presumption, which Your Honor's already discussed. So,
yep. All right. Mr. Boone, same question.
Judge, there is no changes to the PSI. In fact, I was sent to a breakout room and showed the criminal history to my client, which he also agrees that that is his criminal history.
All right. Well, given that, I will adopt the findings of the pre-sentence investigation for today's hearing. This is a little bit unusual. Usually I ask the prosecutor for their comments first, but I think that the defense has kind of a novel request, so I'll let you go first, Mr. Boone.
Thank you, Judge. As this court knows, this was a negotiated plea, and actually we did it right after mediation, and it was kind of a complex issue. This court knows my client came over on a writ, and in coming over on the writ, the state of Kansas dismissed the serious drug offenses against him, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Kansas picked that up, and I know that there's a warrant or there's a hold at some point in time for him to go back there. And so in negotiating this plea, even though I believe KSA 216606 does require that the court make this consecutive to his felony parole out of Missouri, which is Clay County. That's a 13-year sentence that he has backup on. I believe under subsection H, the court can, when the defendant is already under a federal or other state sentence, he can run this case concurrent to that sentence and relinquish custody back to Missouri. Obviously, we have to relinquish custody back to Missouri, and it makes sense to run it concurrent with that Missouri case, the 12 months that we've agreed upon as a disposition. My client's not requesting probation due to the fact that even if Missouri cuts him loose in a month, I doubt it'll be that quick, but even if they, cut him loose before his 12 months are actually up, he would go to KDOC and have to writ into federal court. What I think really will happen, Judge, if you'll follow the plea agreement where they don't oppose the concurrent sentence, is that he will get to Missouri, finally finish all that up, and then he will be released to the holdout of the federal district court in Kansas for the United States hold. So I'm asking that you give him the 12-month sentence, run it concurrent to the Clay County. The Platte County case, I guess maybe he's still serving that on a probation as well, and assess the least amount of costs the court can do in this case. I'd ask you waive the attorney's fees and consider waiving the court costs. If you have to do the DNA fee or things like that, that's fine. But my client does not anticipate getting out of custody for quite some time.
All right. Mr. Campbell.
Your Honor, we'd ask that you follow the plea agreement. Again, this was negotiated through mediation, as Mr. Boone stated. Further, we do not object to running it concurrent to the Missouri sentence. I believe with good time, and he has about 182 days credit, he would only have about 3 months left to serve here in Kansas. So I believe he would run that through Missouri. So we have no objection to running it concurrent.
All right. Mr. Bannister, now's your opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know in mitigation of your sentence today.
Your Honor, basically everything's been said and discussed. I really have no objections to it.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Boone, any legal reason why I should not now proceed to sentencing?
No, Judge.
All right. Well, therefore, for the sole count of conviction, that being criminal damage to property, severity level 9, non-person felony with a criminal history score of C, the defendant will be sentenced to the standard range of 12 months. He'll be eligible for up to 20% good time credit and subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. He is not asking for probation today. It is not presumed in the case. And therefore I am going to deny probation. I'm going to order this case to run concurrently with the current Missouri case that he's over here on a writ from. I believe Mr. Boone is correct. If this was a Kansas sentence, it would be mandatorily consecutive, but it's not. So I understand that I could run it consecutive if I so desired, but I am choosing at this time to run it concurrently with the Missouri sentence. Defendant will be, let's see, ordered to be returned to Missouri. Let's talk a little bit about costs and fees. Mr. Boone, exactly what is your client looking at in terms of how long he's going to be incarcerated?
Judge, we believe if he's convicted over there, he's going to serve at least 10 years on the drug case. If convicted, obviously he's presumed innocent. He has indicated to me in the past that when he gets back to the Department of Corrections in Missouri, that he believes that they will grant him parole again. The hiccup on the underlying 13-year sentence, but however, the hiccup is that he's got to go to Clay County on a pending drug case that's still there first, and then they would send him back to the Department of Corrections or release him from Clay County after that disposition. So I don't anticipate him, getting released by Missouri within, the next 3 months. But if it does, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. But then he's looking at 10 plus years if convicted in the federal case.
Yeah. All right. And it appears that all of his Kansas convictions were misdemeanors. This is his first Kansas felony. All right, look, I'm going to waive court cost supervision fees as well as attorney fee and bid fee. I think the KBI database fee should stay. He can, I'm not going to order him to make any payments until he's released from custody. So that may follow him a little bit, but I'm going to waive all other costs and fees. I don't need to worry about any kind of I guess I'm not waiving supervision fees since he's not being granted probation anyway. So it's just court costs and attorney fees that I'm waiving. All right. Mr. Bannister, you have 14 days from today to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. You may be able to seek expungement of this conviction after a period of time following successful completion of post-release supervision. As a convicted felon, it's prohibited for you to own or possess a firearm, certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades, basically knives that could be considered deadly weapons. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. He'll be given credit for all his time in jail. Do you know, Mr. Campbell, how long he's been in on our case?
Your Honor, I have him through Blue Horse in since September 21st of this past year. The way I figured it is 182 days.
All right. That sounds good. Mr. Boone, does that sound correct to you?
Yes, Judge.
All right. He'll be granted that jail time credit. All right. With that, Mr. Campbell, anything that I've failed to cover today?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Boone, same question.
No, Judge. I think you covered it when you said he's going to serve parole. I don't know if we said 12 months of parole or post-release, but I think
Post-release. Yeah.
that.
Okay. All right. Then we will be adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Judge.
Thanks.
Have a good day.